So, yeah, I know it's been almost 3 months since I did an update. Uh, Let me start by saying thank you to everybody that's reached out to me and all the support and everything. Uh, there's been a lot of people that have been doing a lot to support me lately, and I really, really appreciate it. And I appreciate everyone checking in to try and find out what's been going on when I haven't been communicating. Uh, Honestly, I had a couple, let's just call them really bad months. Pretty much middle of April to almost middle of June were nothing short of hellish, basically. The last time I did an update, yeah, I know that was a little jarring. It was all the rash stuff and everything. And the rash is controllable now. It's not completely gone, it's not completely healed, but it's under control. I still get little pop-ups from it, but I can just do a little topical treatment to pull it back in. The problem now is because it's so hot out, the sweat kind of aggravates the rash a little bit. So it's been a little bit difficult to completely get rid of it. And the doctor said, yeah, that's normal. It may still take another 4 to 6 weeks before it's completely gone. But starting about, I guess, middle of April, which was right after my third infusion, I started getting really, really sick. And at first, we thought it was just the normal side effects from the chemo. I was constantly throwing up, constant diarrhea, and very, very, very dehydrated. And the doctors at first were like, okay, these are all kind of normal side effects for the treatment process I was on. But it was getting to the point where it wasn't getting any better, it wasn't improving. And the side effects routine is basically you have a week of sickness and a week of recovery. That's why you do it every 2 weeks. It gives you some off time in there to recover. Well, mine was taking the full 2 weeks, and I wasn't recovering at all. I was just getting basically sicker and sicker. And so they started looking at some other things, like looking for a viral infection and doing tests for all kinds of other things. And there was a neurovirus thing floating around for a while that they were kind of calling the hiker's neurovirus. And it just basically was to the point where I couldn't eat, I couldn't hold anything in my stomach. But I was still doing the chemo treatments and still throwing up all the time. And at one point, believe it or not, I was down over 35 pounds. I was down below 130 pounds. Normally I'm 165, 168. I was below 130. And I couldn't do anything. I literally had lost all my strength. I was severely cramped and uncomfortable the whole time. And I couldn't even sip water because I would take 2 sips of water and I would throw up. I could not keep anything in me. And it got to the point where it hurt so bad and I was cramped up so bad, I couldn't sit up straight. I could barely walk. So, of course, I did the normal thing where I waited too long to I actually get, a doctor to look at it. And I ended up in the emergency room, which is just a whole nother horror story that takes an hour on its own just to describe how pathetic and horrible the health system is in Las Vegas, and how much better it is going to MD Anderson. But anyway, I ended up in the ER and was actually in the ER for 24 hours, like slept in it, everything, didn't even see a doctor for 24 hours. Finally got to a room, and I ended up being in the hospital for 11, almost 12 days. And the only thing they could come up with was that I had this severe blockage, had nothing to do with anything else. Didn't have anything to do with cancer, didn't have anything to do with the treatment or the drugs I was on. It was just a bowel blockage, basically. And they had me basically on no food for 2 or 3 days. I had like 6 IVs in me. I had 3 in each arm, where I had like a constant fluid drip. I had a constant nutrition drip. And then I had a spare. And then in the other arm, I had specialty drugs basically going in. Like my potassium was low, and they were trying to get my potassium up. So I had a drip of potassium. And I will tell you, if you ever have to go through potassium, it burns like hell when it goes in. My arm literally felt like it was on fire. It just burns like you can't even describe. But I was on that. I had like magnesium. I had a couple other things they were dumping in me, and plus I had a spare in that arm too. And if that wasn't bad enough, I also had basically what they call a nasal tube. So it was a tube that goes through your nose, down your throat, into your stomach. And it's about 24 plus inches long. It goes the whole way down to wherever the blockage is. And in kind of short terms and gross terms, you basically go to the bathroom through your nose. Literally, this just black sludge comes out through your nose. It's disgusting as all heck. But I was on no foods whatsoever, absolutely nothing, for like 3 days, trying to get everything out of whatever was in my system, trying to get it out. And then once it started kind of flowing, because I hadn't gone to the bathroom for like 3 or 4 days either before this. Once it was flowing through my nose, and basically that was flowing because they were sucking it out, it was on a suction. And once that started flowing a little bit, then we went to a clear liquid diet, which essentially is just chicken broth or beef broth or vegetable broth. A lot of choices there. So I was on clear liquid diet for 3 or 4 days just to see if I could tolerate that. And then we slowly moved into a soft diet. It was a soft, low fiber diet, which is like more chicken broth and cream of wheat and some soft, easily digestible foods. But I ended up in the hospital for, like I said, almost 12 days. And just kind of as a little subtext as to the healthcare system, once everything started flowing, doctor says, yeah, okay, you're good to go. And I said, well, what are we doing? What caused this? What am I looking out for? And the doctor looks at me and said, I don't know, I was just told to make you go to the bathroom, and you're going to the bathroom, so you're good to go. They did not, all they did was treat the symptoms. They didn't look for the cause of anything. They refused to talk to my doctors at MD Anderson. I had asked them a number of times to do it, they wouldn't do it. So don't get me started on that. That's just horrific, basically, the way the whole thing was handled. But anyway, they let me out, and I'm still down like, at like 130 pounds. So the first thing I did was basically run to my doctors at MD Anderson and like, what's going on? What do we do? And they put me through a whole series of tests again, CT, MRIs, looking for any kind of blockage or anything that may be there. Like specifically, they were looking for like another tumor or something that had blocked this, or like a tumor in my bowel, or something that created these problems, but they couldn't find anything. So I went through a couple of days of testing with all that, and the good part, though, of doing all those tests at that point, that was after my 6 chemo treatments, and we were going to do more chemo, and there was nothing that was showing up on any of the tests, on any of the blood work, on any of the CTs, on all the imaging and everything. There was nothing. There was a couple little shadows in my abdomen that they couldn't really figure out, and they weren't like solid masses or anything. They were just showing up as like shadows. So they decided they needed to do a needle biopsy to look at these things just to see what it was. So had to go back to MD Anderson for this needle biopsy procedure, which was basically, you are awake and conscious. It's just with a local, and they do it because of where they were going on me, they literally go through your butt cheek with about a 12, 14-inch needle, and it's done in conjunction with a CT. So they map the whole thing with a CT. So they numb you up, stick the needle in, it goes like all the way into your gut, basically. And what they're watching is to miss any other organs. They don't want to hit any muscles or organs whenever the needle goes in. And then they do a CT to make sure that the needle is hitting the spot that they want to hit. If it's not, they pull you out of the CT, move the needle around, and then stick you back into the CT and look at the imaging again to make sure it hits where it's supposed to. So they took about a dozen samples of this shadow area, and that all came back as negative, that it was just scar tissue. Basically, scar tissue caused by the initial radiation from like 3 years ago. But they found a pocket of fluid in my abdomen, so they decided they needed another needle biopsy of it to see what it was, just to make sure that it was nothing dangerous or going to develop into anything. So a couple of weeks after that, I had to go back for another needle biopsy. So they went into the other butt cheek with a needle the same way, and I went through the same procedure basically. And they take about 12 or 15 samples of everything in the area, and that all came back as negative, that it was just a fluid buildup, and again, some more scar tissue from the initial radiation over 3 years ago. And so that all came back clean. So that's the quick summary of like literally since the last video. And it seriously was hell. I mean, I was so tired and so weak. I wasn't doing anything. I could barely get out of bed, let alone, take care of the dog or anything. And thank you to everybody that helped me take care of the house, take care of the dog, while I couldn't, and everything. It was a huge relief to have all that stuff taken care of for me. But the, all of that, wrapped up about a week ago, honestly, about a week and a half ago. And honestly, I feel really great. And I think one of the big things is I've been off chemo for about 6 weeks, and I've been out of the hospital for a couple weeks. And I think finally the drugs are out of my system. I feel like the drugs are gone. I feel like I'm operating a little normally. I'm not as foggy as I was. I have a lot more energy. I am on like a super, super high protein diet, and I have put 10 pounds back on. Yay. I'm back to 140, a little over 140. And it's going to honestly be very, very difficult for me to get back to 165 because my entire life I have had a hard time gaining weight. I have been 165 for, good God, the past almost 40 years. And for me to gain weight, I have to go to the gym. I don't go to the gym to lose weight, I go to the gym to gain weight. So it's going to take me a while to get back. I mean, I'll probably get to 150 relatively easily, but then from 150 on, it's going to be a challenge for me. But like I said, I'm on this super high protein diet. I'm doing at least 200 grams of protein a day, and through supplements like Ensure, Max Protein and I are like good friends now. I mean, that's like my big go-to snack for everything, and my little dessert treat, I suppose. All these, thank God they have like 6 different flavors or something, so I can vary that. But I do feel really, really good. Like I said, my energy's back, my appetite's totally normal, except that I'm actually hungry a lot. I really am. But I don't want to eat just to eat. And my doctors keep telling me no empty calories, which basically means, no junk food or anything. I've got to have, well-balanced meals and snacks and everything. The real bottom line is I just had a follow-up consultation Thursday. This is Saturday. Thursday, I was back at the docs at MD Anderson, and we're done with treatment. Basically, they said there's nothing in me to treat right now. They can't find anything. There's no tumors, no growth, no sign of anything. All of my blood work is like spot on. All of my organs are functioning regularly. I've gotten over like whatever it was before, and all the dehydration and everything, and potassium levels and magnesium levels, and all of that stuff is great. So we have moved me up a category into basically the 3-month cycle rotation. So every 3 months now, I am going to have all my specialty blood work, the genetic testing, and MRIs and CTs that will happen every 3 months. And that's going to go on for 2 years or until they find something. Basically, they want to be able to catch something. If something does show up, start to grow, they want to catch it as early as possible. So for the next 2 years, where every 3 months, I go in for all the testing and everything. And those are actually fairly simple, to be quite honest. I can do all that in a day. The blood work and the CT, MRI can all be done in a day trip to MD Anderson. If everything is clear after 2 years, then we move into 6 months, and we do it basically twice a year. The same thing, we just keep watching for it, and we watch all the numbers, and we look for any changes in anything. And then after 3 years of that, then we just go on a yearly checkup for everything, essentially. So we're not saying I'm cured. We're saying that there's no signs of anything. So it's a little different than, the way Las Vegas categorized it when they're like, oh yeah, you're cured. And it's like, a year later, I'm back in the hospital. There's a 5-year window basically on this for nothing to show up, then you're cured of that. So it's all really, really, really great news. I know I don't sound that excited about it, but I honestly feel like my retirement just started. I feel like my summer just started, and I'm looking forward to all that. I can plan stuff now. I can, kind of get my life back into my normal routine of not having to go to Phoenix every other week, which actually was kind of good. It worked out great with the apartment there and everything. But yeah, I am, good to go for everything. So I'm still going to be doing updates and everything. And I know I've got 2 other friends going through something similar, if not worse, than what I'm going through. And I sincerely wish them the best and everything. I can definitely identify with what you're going through, and I know it's difficult, but hang in there. It can get better. So for right now, it is back to my normal life, whatever the heck that is. I can actually maybe start planning a normal life now. So anyway, again, thank you to everybody. I really, really, really appreciate the support. Everybody that was calling, sorry I didn't call everybody back, but I literally just had too many people calling and texting me, and I just did not have the energy to do it for a couple months, honestly. I just could not do it. And I know I missed a lot of birthdays, so if I missed your birthday, I'm sorry, happy birthday. Thanks for sitting through this whole thing. I know this is a really long one, but it makes up because I haven't done it for 3 months. So anyway, I will try and do something a little more recent than, every 2 or 3 months here. So later.